welcome back. Something interesting is happening in Egbaland, and of course, we're talking about the International Senior Citizens Celebration, which has been put together by a body known as Jigi Alake, and of course, Jigi Alake is under the Egbaland Humanitarian and Development Council. And of course, this International Senior Citizens Day has the topic that we are looking at on that day, which is National Effective Pension System and Establishment of Senior Citizen Center at the state level. Anyway, for more on this, we have two wonderful gentlemen in the studio. We have High Chief Bode Mustafa, EOC of Egbaland, and Chairman Egbaland Humanitarian and Development Council. Hi, Chief Bode Mustafa, you're welcome to the program this
Thank
week.
you.
You're welcome.
We also have Arejide Taiwo, who is the Bagbaje of Egbaland and DG of the Egbaland Humanitarian and Development Council, EHDC. You're welcome to the program as well.
Thank you so much.
Now, let me start from Chief Bode Mustafa, Egbaland Humanitarian and Development Council, and of course, Jigi Alake. What should we know about it?
Well, thank you very much, Hakeem. The council was put in place for two main purposes: health and education. Okay. In the area of education, we are on the drawing board because we want to come up with something really different from the conventional things. But in the area of health, like you say, health is wealth. The Jigi Alake initiative was started in year 2019, which is to give free healthcare services to senior citizens who live in Abeokuta in Egbaland over 65. You start off by checking their eyes, their eye pressures in the eyes, their blood pressure, you check for glaucoma, you check for cataract. And when the tests have been carried out, the council pays for surgeries for those who need surgeries as part of, and that's just a single part of what we're doing in health. But that alone is massive. That alone is expensive. And so, because of the COVID situation, last year, nothing could happen. And of course, because October 5 is already been set up as Senior Citizens Day all over the world.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, that's why we're having it. And on that day, we're having a lecture to be delivered by Dr. Fayemi, the governor of Ekiti State, under the chairmanship of Professor Mabo Ogunje. And we'll have in attendance also Dr. Afolabi, the chairman of CIFAX, and many other dignitaries. The interesting thing about this year's event is, while the tests are being carried out in the auditorium in the palace, in Baba Alake's banquet hall, the lecture will be going on. It will be streaming online so that people see exactly what is happening. We want to do this to let the senior citizens know that they have not been forgotten. I am also a senior citizen. Yes, that we have not been, that they've not been forgotten, because the most traumatic years in a person's life is when the person gets into old age. You know, and you know, without sight, you are nobody. So we thought, okay, let's do something for our senior citizens. You know, also on that day, we are going to give senior citizen certificates, award certificates, to some well-deserving people. These awards have been in the past been given to others like Chief Obasanjo, like Vajibola, etc. But the DG will expatiate on that. Okay. But in its nutshell, that's what it's all about.
Okay,
go ahead. Right,
let me ask you this: is it beyond Egbaland? Because we know that when this kind of initiative is going on, it is an outreach to reach to go out to the rural and urban cities as well. So this one, is it beyond Egbaland, or it is strictly for Egba sons and daughters?
Especially looking at the topic, National Effective Pension System and establishment of Senior Citizen Center at the state level. Are you having another state governor coming, or do you just want us to see Egbaland and Ogun State as a positive example and then spread it across the nation?
Okay, thank you so much. I will take it one after the other. I would address the Jigi Alake initiative first, which is a screening for the high diabetes and high blood pressure. We are holding the program within Egbaland, but that still does not change the fact that within Egbaland we have the Igbos, we have the Shekiris, we have the Ijebus, we have the Lagosians, we have people from Ekiti State.
We have Hausas.
We have Hausas as well. So this program is holding within Egbaland, and every senior citizen that find himself or herself at the palace that they will benefit. We can't say that because you an Ibadan man, and we are here within our midst, we want them to you. So indirectly, it's still a national look program.
Okay.
Because people that we attend to are not limited to Egbas alone.
Okay.
They are people living within the society, whether you are Igbo, whether you are Hausa. So it's not limited to Egba people, but the program is holding within Egbaland. And also to your own question, sir, the lecture had a national look, because we realized that the challenges of old age is not something you can treat or undo or find solution to at the level of Egbaland. So it's something that the federal government have to be part of. It's something that the state government have to be part of. But you know, in Egbaland, we've always had history of being pioneers. So projects like these are things that Africans are not looking into yet, but we are more or less like ahead of most ethnic group. And we also realize that one of the values we have as Africans is our culture and tradition. And the custodians of cultures and traditions are the elderly people. But how much are we taking care of them? How much are we preserving their life? How much are we looking into their care and loving them? A lot of people die, even in old age, even at 67, at 68, at 70. Some of them can still live much more longer once they have access to good health, once they have access to funding, because our research also made us realize that you need more money when you are a senior citizen. You need more money at old age to take care of yourself, most especially medical. So this initiative, it's something that is highly commendable. And also I will commend the law of our Kabiyesi, Baba Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo have for the elderly. Because I could remember that when we had the meeting in 2019, when we wanted to start this initiative, we also realized that medically, it's very expensive to meet medical needs. Do you get it? Yeah. And Baba frankly told us that day that let's concentrate on the old people. That even Jesus Christ is not sent to everybody. Do you get it? But the sermon, the gospel was taken everywhere. That if we concentrate on the elderly, at least we have the opportunity to preserve those who would help us in nurturing and educating the younger generation. So that was how we chose and select that. Let's focus on the elderly now, medically, under the Egbaland Humanitarian and Development Council.
Okay. Chibode Mustafa, this topic interests me. It couldn't have come at a better time. Pension, the word pension there interests me. Yes, you're also a senior citizen, but thank God you're a self-sustained man. But of course, I know that you feel the pain of most elderly people who monthly expect stipends from government, expect pension, and is not coming. Problem at all levels of government, not only in one particular state. So, what should this kind of program, especially the topic, actually bring out at the end of the day?
Well, I think that the person who will deliver the lecture will do justice to that. Fortunately, he's a two-term governor. He's been a minister. That means he's playing at the state level and he has played at the national level. And he knows what experience he has when it comes to handling issues of pensioners and the aged at state level. And we'll have an idea of what it is like, even at the national level. But having said that, it's important that our pensioners are looked after, because we all pray to grow older. It's very unfortunate that the pension issue is not taken so seriously. And when I was in the House of Representatives and I took the bill on Police Security Task Fund to the National Assembly to look after even just policemen, because the primordial responsibility of any responsible government is security of lives and properties. And I pointed out one particular issue. How do you expect a man to lay down his life that in case anything happens to him, his family will not even be able to get his pension, because they'll be taken to Abuja over and over and over again. If at state level, the man will be coming from, the family will be coming from Waterside every day to Abeokuta to look for the pension. In the process, something can happen to them. At the point they get frustrated, and the pensions will not be forthcoming. And I think that we have to, whether we like it or not, we all pray to get old. And we have to look after our elderly people. It saddens me when I hear that pensioners don't get their pensions, when I hear that pensioners are suffering, they're crying to get what they have rightly earned by serving the state or serving the nation and putting in their best and their all. And what they should have as, compared to what others are getting, peanuts in their old age, they don't get it. In civilized climes, pensioners don't go to any office. They take their docket and go to post office and collect their money every week. Why can't we do that in Nigeria? We can't do that in Nigeria because of corruption. Because people want to steal people's pensions. Look at the former DG of the Pensions Commission or whatever. The amount of money the guy stole. Ran into Niger Republic or Chad Republic and was building massive houses there. The son was a contractor there, and the man will come to them and say, I'm ill, I want to go out on bail, whereas you are killing other people. God even doesn't like that. You know, and this is why I think that the topic for this year will get real attention and draw attention of government to what to do in the needful.
Okay, let's look at the education aspect of this initiative and look at how you are going to do and who are you going to bring into the education reform of your initiative. Are you looking at the younger ones, or you're still looking at the elderly in this education reform of the initiative?
Yeah, most definitely we are looking at the younger one, the younger generation. But we have a committee still trying to put together the policy that will guide whatever we're going to do around the educational sector. So it's not something we would want to talk so much or unveil yet. So, we've
that means it's not on the run yet.
It's still in the pipeline. To get it. There's a committee handling that, and I think they'll be submitting their report to the chairman maybe in 2-3 weeks' time. Then we'll be able to talk more as regards to the education.
So what's the overview of your education initiative?
It's actually to support whatever government had been doing in this part of the state, and we actually also realized that we have a lot of successful senior citizens today that part of the benefit they had to make it in life was because they benefited from the free education of Obafemi Awolowo. So we are looking at a model like that for those less privileged children who has the brain, who are brilliant, those less privileged children who can do better in life, but the only thing they lack is support, financial support for them to be able to grow educationally.
Egbaland, can I sit here and beat my chest to say money is not a problem for the Egbaland Humanitarian and Development Council when it comes to organizing programs like this?
Well, you can and you cannot, and you may not. In doing anything, we get support. For example, NDIC gave us sponsorship support. on this program. And it's important to mention it, to put it on record, that Honorable Lola Abiola Edewo, an executive director in NDIC, facilitated it for us. And there are still other men and women of goodwill who are going to support us. And of course, we are also looking inwards ourselves. Because when we start the education program, it will not be a one-off thing like the health program.
Yeah, sure.
The education program is going to be a continuum.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And I will not let the cat out of the bag. But I can assure you that when we come out with this program that we have in mind, because I got a snippet of what the committee, the way, along which line the committee is thinking. And when it comes out, it will be a different model. It will be something, it will be a novelty of an idea when it starts up. And of course, in having that, we need to probably work with some foundations, you know, in order to be able to sustain it long term. And this is why it needs proper planning, not to start today and in 2 years it's over. But you can take it to the bank. That is going to be successful.
Charity will have, I will ask her the next question, but quickly, I just, before we lose track of this, I know that there is Egba Science Foundation. I also know that there is an Egba Economic Development Council. I want to look at the kind of collaboration that exists between the Egbaland Humanitarian and Development Council and all these that we have before.
No, I think each to himself, everybody has their own focus.
Oh, okay.
You know, everybody has their own focus and has their own modus operandi.
But all have the blessing of the Alake of Egbaland.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's all in support of Egbaland initiative.
Okay.
Doing things in Egbaland, because we have a Kabiyesi who has come up with so many wonderful ideas since he came on the throne 16 years ago. And we owe it as a responsibility and as a duty to him to support him, because he means well for Egbaland. We have always been blessed with our paramount rulers in Egbaland. Our paramount rulers in Egbaland, and even our other paramounts in the other townships. But Kabiyesi Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo is in a world of his own. And maybe it's because he has had so much of exposure as an administrator, very well educated administrator, a military person in the area, and been therefore very disciplined, a successful businessman. So he's had his finger in all those pies successfully. And he has brought all of that into being in Egbaland. And that's why Egbaland, we call it Egbatim Dotun, Laye Ade Dotun Aremu. Now, so we owe it as his subjects and his chiefs to give him the support. And that's why we came up with this blessing.
Okay, DG, what are we going to expect on this day, on the day of the event? And is it going to be a yearly thing? Should we expect it to come annually? And for this year, what are the people going to enjoy?
Okay, firstly, it's an annual program. Like I earlier said, that it started in 2019, but we couldn't do anything last year because of COVID. And this year we'll be holding it on Tuesday, 5th of October. But really, International Senior Citizens Day is 1st of October. But because we will be celebrating Independence Day in Nigeria, so we decide to move it few days after Independence Day. And it's going to repeat itself next year, and it will be sustained for so many years. This year, I think the elderly should expect the support, the medical support. We'll be doing screening on diabetes, we'll be doing screening on high blood pressure, and also we'll be screening the high. We'll be giving out free drugs on diabetes, on high blood pressure, and also be giving out reading glasses. And at every point in time that we do such screening, we discover that some people need to do surgery on glaucoma and cataracts. And the council through the goodwill of the chairman and Baba Alake, we also have some respected Egba sons and daughters that will tell you that, okay, out of these people that need surgery, I will pay for 2.
Okay.
I will take 3. And the council would also say, okay, let me take care of the 5 that are remaining. So it's something that I have to do more with it. It's a charitable act. Aside from the lecture, which we'll be holding in the banquet or within the palace.
Oh, okay.
But oftentimes the lecture is more for the privileged elderly, the ones that also feels that they can take care of their medical needs, but they want to contribute towards the growth of the society and Egbaland through their intellectual property. So it's a 2-wing program, the medical one and also the lecture.
Chibori Mustafa, I want to look at the initiative, Jigi Alake initiative, and look beyond the direct meaning. When you hear Jigi Alake, you think it's all about glasses. But let's look at it metaphorically. What is this trying to capture when you say Jigi Alake initiative?
Now, to start off with, now when we say we'll carry out tests, eye tests, when you do eye tests, you test for glaucoma, you test for cataract. Once you carry out the eye test, what's the next step? Either surgery or glasses. Or both.
Or both, yeah.
Sometimes you have cataract surgery, you carry out cataract surgery and you don't need glasses. I have had cataract surgery, that's why I don't wear glasses, right? But some people have cataract surgery and still need glasses, if only even for reading or stuff like that. So it's an all-encompassing thing.
Yeah.
But you know, it takes off from the tests and culminates in the Jigi,
Okay.
if necessary.
Okay.
In addition to that, the initiative is actually the Alake of Egbaland free Medicare for the elderly. But in 2019, Kabiyesi, Baba told us that I want something that an old woman on the street can easily identify with. That can't you come up with something that is short and is going to come in Yoruba language? That was why we said, okay, let's use the word Jigi Alake. The word Jigi, everybody knows it has to do with the eye. So once you hear Jigi, you know, which means what Kabiyesi do every year for the care of the elderly.
Okay, which means the place to be on the 5th of October, year 2021, is the Alake Palace, where we're going to have our own celebration of the International Senior Citizens Day. And of course, there is a lecture to be delivered by the governor of Ekiti State, which is titled National Effective Pension System and Establishment of Senior Citizens Center at state level. And of course, all of that things inclusive. You check for your eyes, you check for medical checkups, and of course, if you are entitled and if you need a drug, you get it. All these things coming, being put together by Jigi Alake initiative under the auspices of Egbaland Humanitarian and Development Council. Once again, the OC of Egbaland Chief Body Mustafa, who is the chairman of the EHDC, I want to thank you very much for coming to the program.
Thank you so much.
And of course, the DG too, Jide Taiwo. I want to also the Bagbaje. I hope I'll do enough to Bagbaje and people like Chief Body Mustafa. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
All right, you're still watching this Wednesday edition of New Dawn with Charity James and Akim Aketunde. One more segment to go, talking about the discussion segment. We'll be right back.
Thank you.